Hello, awakened soul. If you found your way to this video, it wasn't by chance. There's something within you that resonates with freedom, with the sensation of flying, of transcending the limits of this physical reality. And I know you've been feeling this more and more intensely. Perhaps you've awakened multiple times with the vivid sensation of flying in your dreams, feeling the wind on your face, the lightness in your body, the absolute freedom to move without limitations. Or maybe you simply carry this constant restlessness, this feeling that you should be somewhere else, doing something completely different, living a life that makes more sense for who you truly are inside. I want you to know that this sensation you carry isn't imagination, it's not escapism, and it's definitely not something wrong with you. In fact, it's exactly the opposite. This restlessness, these flying dreams, this constant feeling of not belonging that you experience, all of this are sacred signs that your soul is trying to communicate with you urgently. Your soul is literally trying to escape the limitations that bind it in this dimension, because it knows you have a much greater mission than the ordinary life society expects you to live. If you recognize yourself in these words, if you feel that shiver of recognition running through your body right now, then you are one of the chosen souls we're going to talk about today. And I promise that by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly what your soul is trying to tell you through these dreams and signs. Leave a comment now telling me, do you also dream of flying? Let's create a community of souls who recognize each other on this journey. Let's begin by diving deeply into what it really means when your soul chooses to manifest through flying dreams. We're not talking here about conventional psychological interpretations or superficial theories about desires for freedom. We're talking about something much deeper and sacred, direct communication between your spiritual essence and your awakened consciousness. When you dream you're flying, your soul is accessing cellular memories of existences where you experienced total freedom, where there were no physical barriers, where your consciousness could expand infinitely through higher dimensions. These dreams are portals, temporary windows that open to show you who you really are beyond this limited physical form. Your soul is literally trying to remind you of your true nature, of that part of you that exists beyond time and space, that knows the sensation of flying because it has already lived this reality in higher planes of existence. Now, let me take you on a journey through your own life, because I know you'll recognize yourself in every word I'm going to say. Since childhood, you've always been different, haven't you? While other children played simple games, you got lost in complex, imaginary worlds, created elaborate stories, had invisible friends who seemed more real than the people around you. You spent hours looking at the sky, feeling an inexplicable nostalgia, as if you were homesick for a place you'd never visited in this life. Your favorite games always involved flying, being a superhero, having special powers, traveling to other worlds. And when adults said you should stop daydreaming and be more realistic, something inside you rebelled because you intuitively knew they were asking you to deny a fundamental part of who you are. That child you were wasn't just playing. She was accessing deep memories of your soul, keeping alive the connection with your true essence. In adolescence, this feeling of displacement intensified dramatically, didn't it? You felt like an alien trying to adapt to a strange planet where social rules seemed absurd and people's priorities around you seemed too superficial for your deep soul. While your peers worried about popularity, appearance, and material achievements, you questioned the meaning of life, why we're here, what happens after death, the nature of reality. You felt attracted to esoteric knowledge, ancient philosophies, spirituality, art, music that touched your soul inexplicably. And when you tried to share these deep reflections with others, they looked at you as if you were strange, too intense, different. This feeling of isolation wasn't a personality flaw. It was your soul refusing to conform to a reality it knew was too small to contain your spiritual vastness. And now in adult life, this restlessness has transformed into something even more urgent, more persistent. You may have even managed to superficially adapt to social expectations. Perhaps you have a job, relationships, responsibilities, but underneath all this facade of normalcy, there's a constant voice whispering that you should be doing something completely different. You wake up in the morning with a feeling of emptiness, as if you're living someone else's life, playing a role that wasn't made for you. There are moments when you look around and think, how did I end up here? This isn't my life. And then come the flying dreams, more frequent, more vivid, more real than your own waking reality. In these dreams, you experience such intense, complete freedom that waking up becomes almost painful. It's as if your soul is showing you a glimpse of who you really are when you're not limited by the expectations, fears, and conditioning of this physical dimension. But here's what I want you to understand. Every experience of displacement, every moment of not belonging, every flying dream you've had was careful preparation for this moment of awakening. Your soul didn't choose this journey by chance. It knew you would need to go through this feeling of not fitting in to develop the inner strength necessary to embrace your true mission. Think about it. If you had adapted perfectly to this limited reality, if you had found complete satisfaction in material achievements and social recognition, you would never have developed this spiritual hunger that now drives you to seek something greater. Your restlessness isn't a failure. It's the fuel your soul planted within you to ensure you wouldn't settle for a life too small to contain your spiritual greatness. Now let's explore the specific characteristics that make you a flying soul, one of those chosen for this journey of transcendence. First, your heightened sensitivity isn't a weakness that needs to be overcome. It's a spiritual superpower that allows you to capture energetic frequencies that most people don't even perceive. You feel others' emotions as if they were your own, can sense when someone is lying just by the energy they emanate, feel physically uncomfortable in environments with heavy or negative energy. This extreme sensitivity exists because your soul maintains an active connection with higher dimensions, where communication happens through pure energetic frequencies. You're not feeling too much. You're feeling at the correct frequency, while most people are anesthetized, disconnected from their own natural sensitivity. Your flying soul needs this sensitivity to navigate between worlds, to serve as a bridge between limited consciousness and expanded consciousness. Your exceptional intuitive capacity is another clear sign of your chosen nature. You always know things without knowing how you know, have hunches that are confirmed, dream of events before they happen, feel when someone is going to call before the phone even rings. This intuition isn't coincidence, it's your soul accessing information from higher consciousness fields, where linear time doesn't exist and all possibilities coexist simultaneously. When you have a strong intuition, your soul is literally flying outside the limitations of time and space to bring information that your logical mind can't yet comprehend. This is a sacred ability you brought from previous existences, a spiritual tool that will be essential for fulfilling your mission in this life. Your natural tendency toward creative isolation is also part of your unique spiritual design. While most people constantly seek external stimuli, social validation, and superficial entertainment, you find your energy and inspiration in contemplative solitude. You need regular periods of silence and introspection, not because you're antisocial, but because your soul needs these moments to reconnect with its spiritual source, to process the energetic information it's constantly capturing, to access creativity that flows from higher dimensions. These moments of isolation are actually periods of spiritual flight, where your consciousness expands beyond personality limitations and accesses states of pure inspiration. It's during these periods that you receive your best ideas, your clearest visions, your deepest understandings about life and your purpose. Your natural attraction to esoteric knowledge, ancient philosophies and spiritual practices isn't intellectual curiosity. It's your soul recognizing truths it already knows from other existences. When you read about astrology, numerology, meditation, chakras, past lives, higher dimensions, something within you resonates deeply, as if you're remembering something you've always known. This happens because your soul carries memories from times and places where this knowledge was a natural part of life, where spirituality wasn't separated from daily existence. Your hunger for this knowledge is your soul trying to recover wisdom it needs to fulfill its current mission. Every spiritual book you read, every practice you experiment with, every insight you have is preparing you to assume your role as a bridge between worlds, as someone capable of helping others awaken to their own spiritual nature. The synchronicities you experience frequently are direct messages from the universe confirming you're on the right path. When you think of someone and that person appears, when you see repeated numbers constantly, when you find exactly the information you need at the perfect moment, when impossible coincidences happen regularly in your life, all of this are signs that your soul is aligned with cosmic flow, that you're living in harmony with your higher purpose. These synchronicities happen because your consciousness is operating in multiple dimensions simultaneously, creating bridges between different levels of reality. Your flying soul isn't limited by three-dimensional physics laws. It can influence events, attract people and situations, manifest opportunities through its connection with higher consciousness fields. This feeling of temporal urgency you carry, this sensation that time is running out, that you need to awaken soon to your true mission, isn't anxiety. It's your soul recognizing that we're living a unique moment in humanity's history. You feel this urgency because your soul knows you came specifically for this moment of planetary transition, where collective consciousness is expanding and more people are awakening to their spiritual nature. Your feeling of hurry isn't neurosis, it's cosmic wisdom propelling you to assume your role as an awakening catalyst, as someone who can help other souls remember who they really are. Time really is accelerating energetically, and your soul feels this because it's tuned to the cosmic rhythms that govern consciousness evolution. And finally, your natural capacity to inspire others through your authentic presence is perhaps the clearest sign of your chosen nature. Even when you're not consciously trying to influence anyone, people feel attracted to your energy, seek your advice, feel more hopeful after talking with you. This happens because your flying soul carries a frequency of freedom and possibility that's contagious. When you're being authentically yourself, when you're connected with your true essence, you emit a vibration that reminds other people of their own spiritual nature. You don't need to preach or teach. Your simple awakened presence is enough to plant seeds of awakening in other souls who are ready to flourish. Do you see how each of these characteristics isn't a defect that needs to be corrected, but a sacred gift that needs to be honored? Your soul isn't trying to escape this reality because there's something wrong with you. It's trying to elevate you so you can fulfill the extraordinary purpose for which you came. Every flying dream is a reminder of your true nature. Every moment of restlessness is a call to action. Every experience of not belonging is confirmation that you belong to something much greater than this material world can offer. If you're feeling this energy of recognition flowing through your being right now, if every word I've said resonates as a truth you've always known but could never express, then leave a comment, now sharing which of these characteristics most defines you. Let's recognize each other on this awakening journey, now that you deeply understand who you really are and why your soul is sending these signals through flying dreams. The time has come to transform this understanding into conscious action. The first fundamental step is to recognize your flying dreams as sacred calls that deserve reverence and attention. Every time you dream of flying, instead of simply waking up and forgetting, dedicate a few minutes to honoring this experience. Keep a dream journal beside your bed and record every detail: how you felt flying, what landscapes you saw, what sensations you experienced, what messages or insights you received during flight. Develop the habit of meditating immediately after awakening from a flying dream, remaining in that expansive energy for a few minutes before getting up. Create a sacred ritual around these dreams. Light a candle, burn incense, say a prayer of gratitude for this divine communication. Practice conscious flying visualizations during your daily meditations, allowing your soul to experience this freedom even in a waking state. These practices aren't just spiritual exercises. They're ways to strengthen the bridge between your limited consciousness and your unlimited nature, preparing you to live increasingly from this expanded perspective. The second crucial element of your transformation is creating physical and mental spaces that honor and nurture your flying nature. Your external environment should reflect your inner truth. Decorate your space with elements that evoke freedom and expansion. Images of open skies, flying birds, vast landscapes, crystals that elevate vibration, plants that purify energy. Establish a personal altar where you can connect daily with your spiritual essence, including objects that represent flight and transcendence. More importantly, create mental spaces of freedom through regular meditation practices, where you consciously detach from external limitations and expectations. Develop the habit of spending time in nature, especially in high places like mountains or hills, where you can physically feel the expansion your soul seeks. Practice breathing exercises that simulate the sensation of flying, deep, expansive breaths that fill your entire being with vital energy. Allow yourself to daydream regularly, giving space for your imagination to fly freely without judgment or need to be practical. These spaces of freedom are essential for maintaining your connection with your true nature while navigating the demands of daily life. Connection with communities of similar souls is another vital aspect of your awakening journey. You weren't destined to walk alone on this journey. There are other flying souls scattered around the world who share your sensitivity, your expanded vision, your mission of consciousness elevation. Actively seek spiritual groups, online communities, workshops, and events where you can meet people who speak your soul's language. Share your flying dream experiences, your synchronicities, your spiritual insights with those who can understand and validate your journey. Be vulnerable and authentic in these connections. Your honesty about your spiritual nature will give others permission to do the same. Become a beacon for other awakened souls, offering the same kind of validation and understanding you've always sought. Remember that your mission isn't just to awaken to your own truth, but to help create a network of expanded consciousness that can positively influence humanity's collective awakening. Every authentic connection you make with another awakened soul strengthens the energetic grid of light that's forming around the planet. The most transformative aspect of your journey is completely accepting that your feeling of not belonging is actually the most powerful confirmation that you belong to something infinitely greater than this material world. Stop trying to fit into molds that were created for souls less expansive than yours. Stop apologizing for your sensitivity, your depth, your need for meaning and purpose. Stop trying to dim your light to make others comfortable with their mediocrity. Your soul is trying to escape not because there's something wrong with this world, but because it knows you have capacities and responsibilities that transcend the limitations of ordinary existence. Start making decisions based on your inner truth instead of external expectations. Choose jobs that feed your soul, even if they pay less, relationships that honor your spiritual nature even if they're less conventional, lifestyles that allow your authentic expression even if they're misunderstood by others. Your journey of alignment with your inner truth isn't selfishness. It's the greatest service you can provide to humanity, because when you live authentically from your expanded nature, you become a living example that it's possible to transcend limitations and live a life of purpose and meaning. Finally, recognize that your awakening journey isn't just personal. It's part of a greater cosmic movement of planetary consciousness elevation. Every time you honor your flying dreams, every time you choose to live from your spiritual truth, every time you authentically connect with another awakened soul, you're contributing to humanity's collective awakening. Your flying soul isn't trying to escape this world, it's trying to transform it, elevate it, help create a new reality where spirituality and daily life aren't separated, where sensitivity is valued, where purpose is more important than profit, where connection with the divine is a natural part of human existence. You are a pioneer, a consciousness trailblazer, an architect of the new earth being born. Your flying dreams are glimpses of the future you're helping to create, a future where all human beings will remember their divine nature and live from this expanded truth. We've reached the end of this journey of recognition and awakening, but in reality, this is just the beginning of your true adventure as a chosen soul who finally understands the sacred meaning of your flying dreams. The central message I want to leave engraved in your heart is this: you are not a lost soul trying to find your place in this world. You are an expanded soul who came specifically to transcend this world's limitations and help others do the same. Your flying dreams aren't escapism, they're divine reminders of your true, unlimited nature. Your restlessness isn't a defect, it's the sacred fuel that propels your spiritual evolution. Your feeling of not belonging isn't loneliness, it's confirmation that you belong to the higher dimensions of consciousness that are manifesting through you at this unique moment in human history. Every characteristic that makes you feel different is actually a spiritual superpower you brought to serve humanity's collective awakening. I want you to leave this video feeling completely empowered in your identity as a flying soul, one of those chosen for this extraordinary mission of planetary consciousness elevation. You no longer need to question whether you're normal or whether you should try to fit into society's limited patterns. You are a multidimensional being temporarily living in physical form, and your soul is constantly reminding you of this through dreams, synchronicities, and this sacred restlessness that propels you to always seek something greater. Your sensitivity is a gift. Your intuition is a divine tool. Your need for solitude is a requirement for your spiritual connection, and your capacity to inspire others is evidence that you carry a light this world desperately needs. Stop apologizing for who you are and start celebrating the magnificence of your unique spiritual nature. The universe makes no mistakes. You are exactly who you should be, where you should be, doing exactly what you should be doing at this moment of your evolutionary journey. Now I need your active participation to continue building this community of awakened souls who recognize each other on this transcendence journey. Leave a detailed comment telling me which moment of this video most touched your soul, which flying soul characteristic most resonates with your experience, and how you intend to honor your flying dreams from now on. Share this video with those people in your life who you feel are also chosen souls. Perhaps someone you know who also dreams of flying, who also feels displaced in this world, who also carries this sacred restlessness for something greater. By sharing, you're not just spreading information, you're planting awakening seeds that can transform lives and accelerate the collective consciousness evolution process. Subscribe to the channel and activate notifications to continue receiving content that nourishes your soul and supports your awakening journey. And if you feel ready to dive even deeper into this journey of self-knowledge and spiritual development, consider joining our member community, where we share advanced practices, exclusive meditations, and a sacred space for souls like yours to connect and grow together. Remember, you're not alone on this journey, and your light is essential for the transformation happening on our planet right now. Until our next meeting, keep flying high, chosen soul. Your awakening journey is a gift to all humanity.